Well, hello. We're back at Succeed from the Start again. We're coming today with Robb, who's talking at our event that's coming up, We Thrive Together. So, Roger, first of all, thank you for coming and joining me on this call.
You're welcome. Beautiful to see you. Great to see you, Angela.
No, it's lovely. So, really, Roger, we've been talking about this event and getting out there and recognizing the damage that has taken place within families, within relationships, not just because of COVID, actually. There's been all sorts of things going on for years, really, where people just don't seem to know how to get those relationships going and working, particularly when there's been some kind of split. There's a lot of blame, there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of guilt, and it just seems to put in a block. And then with children, it's the children that suffer. So yeah. I would love to know anything that you're going to bring to our event that's going to help people really tackle this whole issue.
Okay. Well, definitely really looking forward to the event and hearing the other speakers too. And I think that combination of a desire to change, I'm hoping that those that engage actually want to change, but actually I want to be sharing about restoring the trust and building bridges, family relationships that last. And sometimes that can be about removing the blockages. Actually, when I, as a human being, engaging with another person and encouraging them, I think it's a really privileged position. I think it's an opportunity to not just impact that person, but you're actually influencing generations. I have a little saying: influence today to release tomorrow. And I guess that helps us to think beyond the issue, beyond the blockage, the stumbling block. So very much, Angela, wanting to talk about relationships, talk about communication, talk about how we actually rebuild bridges. That's those perhaps reconciliation gestures, and some positive forms of communication.
Because you've had a lot of experience, not just with your own family, children and so on, but you've actually had a lot of professional experience with broken relationships.
Yes. So I've been supporting families really for nearly 40 years, and in various, not everybody that I've worked with. Sometimes it's been men's groups, sometimes it's been people who are what we call ESOL groups, English as an additional language, and actually setting up formats and opportunities for them to develop and grow in their relationships. I actually work as a parenting practitioner as well for a local council, as well as doing my own business and work as well. And yes, engaging with families, sometimes it's at dire times where people are nearing the end of their lives, and other times it's at crisis moments through some of the charity work I do as well.
So, because one of the things that I've noticed over the years, I grew up with the family, mum and dad were there.
Yep.
There was a typical, you might have your arguments with your siblings like everybody does, but I think I just grew up in a bubble world, really, where I just assumed that everybody else's family was like that. I was very blessed. And then I went to university and I met people who came from different kind of backgrounds, but it wasn't until I joined the police I began to see reality a lot more, I have to say. And then going on from there, that was a really valuable experience for me, because it began to see that there's so much difference, so much diversity in the world, and not just within the family, but around us too. And then going on with our own personal experiences with our own son, particularly seeing how difficult it is sometimes for people to lead a normal life. What can people look forward to coming along to this event, maybe virtually, maybe in the room, but what will they be taking away from the time spent with you?
I mean, it's heartwarming to hear you being honest and open about your own experience and myself. When we talk about and we think about our upbringing, it does impact us. And yes, I want to share about what I will be delivering, and some of which I'll be delivering. But I'm coming from a place of, as an 8-year-old boy, seeing my own father as I walked through a marketplace and walked out into the open with my mother from a crowded space. And I have this image as an 8-year-old boy seeing my father with another woman, and not only with another woman, with another family, with other children. So the brokenness of vowing to never be like my father. I'm really pleased. I've been married 35 years. I have 4 children and 3 grandchildren, triplet daughters. I have to put that in. So I've survived. So can you. God's reward for not killing your kids is grandchildren, if you just hang on in there. But very much what I'd love to be able to do is talk about how we respond and not just react. And so we'll be looking at self-regulatory behaviors and how we can promote those within our families. We'll be looking at and this is really important, Angela, the pace of life, the rhythm. So I'm taking some elements from my program, the Dynamic Dream Parenting Program, and some of the R's I have. And one of them is, it's really helpful, is the rhythm, the pace of life and how we do life, and creating a different pace for ourselves. How do we put those routines and boundaries in place? And I think it's really important that we do this in a fun way, when we actually not just look at what's happening at the surface, up above ground, but actually what's happening below for each other. And so I'm hoping and I'm believing that trust will be built, and that individuals and families will walk away with some clear, concise principles of and plans and strategies of how they can go back to their families, go back to their professional employment where they're engaging with young people or a child, and actually have some clear strategies of how they can move further along in a positive way, rather than being stuck even. Does that make sense?
No, it definitely makes sense. So giving people time and space. I love that, looking below the surface and finding out what's affecting us, because truthfully, that is the case for so many of it. Well, for all of us, actually.
Yes.
And what you see on the surface isn't necessarily what's going on underneath, but it's really affected by it, isn't it? So
it is.
So if you're coming, if you're wondering at the moment, should I take part in this event or not, I can only tell you that the people we've got speaking are all coming from a place of working through things themselves, delivering things that they know work. They've seen them work in their own lives, in the people that they work with. So do come along to We Thrive Together.
Yes.
Do connect with Roger. If you're coming virtually, of course, you've got your opportunity to book a slot with the speaker of your choice. So whichever one resonates most with you, that you could get some personal help and support from, there'll be an availability to do that. Thanks very much for coming along this evening, Roger. I don't want to tell anybody, don't want to give the game away with anything else, but just encourage people to come along. It's been really good to talk to you.
Thank you, Angela. Looking forward to it very much. God bless.
And you.